Good morning, everyone. Namaste. What a big crowd. Everybody's interested in meditation, maybe. Yeah. Thank you for coming. My first Dharma talk. So trying not to be nervous today. The meditation has come in very handy today. All of that clearing your thoughts. I'm like, nope, I'm not thinking that. Nope, not thinking that. So it's been pretty good. I know Ruthie asked me, where's Ruthie? There you are. To instruct you on all the different styles of meditation, but that's almost amusing because there's almost as many styles of meditation as there are people.
I just meant the name of it.
The name of it. Okay, I wasn't sure what you meant.
Give them some choice. If one doesn't work, another one might. For different occasions.
Exactly. So she's just saying for the people at home, to have a variety. So I do have. Look at this list I made. A not exhaustive list of all sorts of qualities and types of meditation. I also, inspired through me a huge talk on meditation as well. So I don't have time for all of it, and I will do as much as I can. I want to give you a bit of some different practices, but also a bit about why we meditate and that kind of thing. So that's what I'm going to do. And we're going to start with a meditation, but because this is about meditation, I'm going to walk you through the setup. So some people haven't been here before. They might not know how to get set up in the meditation. If you do, then it's just a review. So we're going to be doing a Zazen meditation, which is kind of a standard meditation I think a lot of people know, with an adjustment. Every time you look up a particular type of meditation on the internet, you're going to find like a huge discrepancy in how people say to do it. So you really do need to find what works for you, and I would say not be so hung up on having to do one particular thing just right, because someone else is going to say to do it differently. So really finding what works for you, that's the important part. So in the Zazen, the upper body is pretty much the same instruction, but the lower body you have a lot of choices. So I'll start at sort of the more advanced and work backwards. So as you would see in all the media, the yogi guru has his feet in lotus position, which would be both your feet up on your lap, which I cannot do. They would both be up here. The second version to that is one foot up, 1 foot down. Now, even how I'm sitting on my cushion, there's a type of cushion that has come to be used called a zafu, which is a circular cushion. It's fairly thick. And that's to keep you propped up so that your knees can be lower than your hips. Because if your knees aren't lower than your hips, it's going to be causing you a lot more physical challenge. So you want to get yourself up high enough. If both your feet are up on your thighs, your knees will be pointing right down to the ground. And so that forms a bit of a tripod base. So you've got a more solid base. And you can still do that with one knee up. Don't get there. You don't have to cross your legs like that at all. You can just have one foot in front of the other. I recommend not stacking your feet, because that will start to hurt your ankles. Your bones will cause you all sorts of grief. So just one nicely in front of the other. Not really quite up high enough to have my knees on the ground, but that's the idea. Or just, whatever cross-legged you're comfortable in. Another alternative, if you can't do cross-legged, is to sit on your knees in what's called seiza style, or Japanese style sitting. So this would be sort of the normal way to do it. But if you're going to meditate a long time and you're not used to this, your legs might fall asleep as well. So you can take a cushion, maybe your zafu cushion, and you put it between your knees, so you're almost like riding it like a horse. And so you'd be up higher. And that way your body weight is supported by the cushion, but your knees might be in a position that's easier for you to sit for a longer time. Then, of course, we have, there's almost forgot one. They have a little bench in Japan. They use this a lot. A tiny little bench that they sit up on with their knees underneath as well. You can sit in a chair, on a couch, on a bench. Ideally, your feet are flat on the floor. And getting up and down, I'm mostly getting old. I like to recommend putting a cushion, if you have a back to your chair, propping your back with a cushion so that it helps you to stay upright. And then you're not having to effort as much. So that makes it easier to stay longer as you perhaps want to practice and get stronger in your seating. You could remove that and then your muscles will start to get stronger. But for me, for years and years, I would sit in a chair with that propped in my back. Because ultimately the idea is not for you to be struggling with your body. It's to be finding your zen, your bliss. And if you're just in pain all the time, you're not really working on that part of it. So especially when you're starting off, I just recommend finding something comfortable to get started and then work your way up. Okay. Upper body. Upper body, as I said, the back is straight. And you want to tuck your chin so your neck is just looking straight out. And you tuck your chin back a little bit. And imagine like you've got a string pulling up on the top of your head just lightly. Not really pulling, but just helping you to suspend yourself up in the spaciousness. By having this posture, you'll find your teeth are lightly together. Your tongue is just lightly on the front part of the roof of your mouth. And if you just try, like if you tilt your head up, you'll notice what happens inside your mouth. Your teeth part, your tongue comes back, or if it's too far down, your teeth are tighter together. So that's a guide in helping you find that ideal positioning. And we do that so that the flow of energy is clear, coming all the way down your center channel, and we're not blocking it. If you're crimping it like a hose, you're not going to get that pure flow of energy. Okay, a lot just to get set for meditation. And so this is, what we normally do here is our silent meditation, where we set up like that, we close our eyes, we focus on our breath, and we just keep inviting the thoughts away. So you're welcome to do that if that's your favorite. You're welcome to do that now. But I'm going to guide just another step in the Zazen. Let me just remind myself here. All right. I have so many, I've mixed them all up. Okay, so for this one, you have your eyes half open. And you're staring at a point on the floor about 3 feet in front of you, just a soft gaze. And having the eyes open helps to keep you from drifting off to sleep. In this, we also include a hand mudra. So hand mudras are just positions with your hands that are based on your meridian system and your energy flow. And there's lots of different ones, and you can achieve different things by the positioning. The cosmic mudra is what's used in this meditation, where you just cup one hand into the other, and you put your thumbs so that the tips are together. So you form kind of an oval shape here. And you put those essentially on your lap, but right against your lower abdomen. So that circle is kind of at your hara, which is it's about 2 inches below your belly button. That's the center of your energy, your chi system, prana, whatever name you want to use. And so your focus for your breath is more in that area when you're focusing on breath. Pardon me. All right. So, still just bringing your awareness to the sensation of breath. This time it's down in the hara. You could accent the exhale as your focus more than the inhale. And just bringing your thoughts, or bringing your awareness back to that spot, that breath, instead of getting occupied with thoughts. So that's enough talking about it. Let's do this. So spend about 10 minutes. And you'll notice if your thumbs start to collapse down, that is just a reminder for you to become more focused, become more aware. coming up on our 10 minutes anyway, so let's use that as our bell. And just bring yourself lightly back into awareness. So we all seem to have cultivated a state of calm, which of course is one of the beautiful benefits of meditation. I realize I forgot to introduce myself, so for those who don't know me, I'm Lisa Virtue. I'm a yoga teacher and energy healer, and I've been coming to the Dharma practices for 2.5 years now. So thank you for inviting me to talk today. So one of the primary benefits of meditation is a state of relaxation. And the prime way people relax is by sleeping. And you might find, if you're trying to meditate, that you keep falling asleep. Then what I'd say is what you're actually needing is to get more sleep. So in looking for your calm, just start with sleeping more. That's really, the foundation. Then you can work on bringing meditation into your days. Your body's going to tell you what you need. So if you nod off, then have a nap. The second way that we come into relaxation he needs more sleep. Yeah. The second way that we relax is through deep breathing. And
Aren't they bodies normally? Yeah.
Okay, Boudreaux, thank you for your song. All right. So if you've been having a stressful time or you're worried about something and that comes to a completion point, very often we'll say, phew, I'm glad that's over. You have this sort of, you actually take this deep inhale, you say, phew. It's a pronounced exhale with the words pronouncing that exhale, which it's a big cue to your body that we're done with the stress and now we can relax. And so when we say to someone, calm down, take a deep breath, you're saying, please switch over from this overactive, busy mind into a more restful state. So you can either notice it in yourself, you go, oh, look at me, I'm relaxing, or you can consciously use it to help yourself to relax, to tell the body that's what we're doing right now. And what we're doing is we're moving from the sympathetic nervous system, fight, flight, into the parasympathetic nervous system, which is rest, digest, restore. And so I teach restorative yoga, as you might know, here on Fridays. And that's what we're doing for that whole hour time. We're consciously choosing to be in that parasympathetic, restful state. And what happens when we're in that state, so when we're sleeping, our mind is no longer contributing to all of the active creations of the day. We're no longer creating negative things in our day or running negative patterns. We're kind of in this neutral state. And that's when our brain digests all of that input and makes some sense of it. And sometimes if you're working on a problem, you'll be like, I'm just going to sleep on it. And you wake up and you're like, oh, I had an inspiration, an idea. Because your mind was able to process that. So in restorative yoga, we're looking to emulate that state while you're awake. So you're putting yourself into this state of calm and peace, and you're digesting, but maybe you're also digesting the input of your day. But we're not actively contributing to the thoughts. And maybe I wrote it down. Right. So we get inspirations in restorative as well, and we're practicing being calm while we're awake, which is also part of the goal of meditation, is to be calm while you're you're out in your day. So restorative yoga to me, or restorative practices, are a form of meditation. And I find them to be the most approachable form of meditation for beginners or people undergoing stress or challenge. So you are actually meditating while you're lying there trying to relax. And in class, I'll guide you through some things for your mind, to like a body scan or something. So it's not, it's more approachable than a sitting meditation like this can seem like a work. And for years I really avoided it because it just seemed so hard. But just doing something simple like relaxing can still give you the qualities you're looking for. I have so much to talk about. I'm probably going to have to do part 2. So I think ultimately what we're looking for out of meditation is a deeper connection with ourselves. We have this busy mind that just chatters at us nonstop, and we're looking to, get beyond that and find something more peaceful. And so I see it like a free diver learning to dive. And you're out in the ocean, and the ocean is full of the flotsam and jetsam. There is detritus everywhere. It's like the big ocean garbage patch. It's really deep, and there's all sorts of stuff. And so you're brand new at it, and you jump in the water, and you're getting battered and bruised by all this stuff. Hence our thoughts. All those thoughts are schmucking us, and we just can't seem to get through it. So that's the frustration when you first start to meditate, is you're like, it's too deep, I can't make it through this. And it seems easier just to give up and sit in your boat and throw the garbage over the side. That's really easy up here, I'll just keep doing that. But you're just contributing more. So the first thing is stop contributing, stop throwing the garbage over the side. And that, I feel, Buddhism in general, all the parts of Buddhism are contributing to stopping doing that. It's all the works as a whole. You've said many times, it's circular, it's like a sphere, it's all part of one package. So all the qualities, like when Ruthie was talking about generosity, I found this blog, and this person was saying in the West, we're doing things backwards, where we go to a retreat to meditate, and while we're there, there's some precepts that we have to do while we're there, we find out, and before we leave, we have to be generous. And in the East, they grow up first learning generosity. So, an image of the mother holding up the little child to put rice in the bowl of the monk that's come by. And so they grow up learning the qualities of generosity, learning the qualities of being virtuous. That's integrated into the day-to-day, and they're modeled that, and they get used to it. And they get used to, a virtuous quality might be in refraining from doing something that's going to, you really want to do it, but you learn that by not doing it, not only does everybody else feel better, but you cultivate this deeper well-being. And so then when it comes to learning to meditate, you have this more trust in the Buddha. You're like, oh, you didn't let me down before. I felt better through these other qualities. And that can help you through trying to meditate. And if you've had a practice of times you've been generous, then when you're meditating, you have those to fall back on, those thoughts, those states. You're like, oh, like this positive thought versus this negative thought. So it makes it easier. So we kind of have it a little bit harder on ourselves when we're trying to dive into meditation without having incorporated the rest of this into our lives. So I just say, don't feel bad that it's hard. It's, we're kind of set up for that. But it is worth putting some effort into to move beyond that. I'll go in more of this.
Last week you did the candle flame. That was a good different kind.
Yeah. Okay. Yeah. So why don't I tell you? Ruthie's segueing me into more types of meditation. So let's go to my list.
Oh,
that's okay. I'll mix it all together. So, as I was saying, there's so many different styles of meditation, and so I'm going to just start listing a few of the qualities of kinds of meditation. And you might pick up on some of these that you go, oh, that's something I might look into. So you probably have to do some more research for yourselves, but I'll give you some starting points. And I can maybe we'll put on the video on YouTube a link to, I found a website that's got a list of tons of them with how to do them. So they're not all exactly perfect. Like he said, the hara is above your belly button or it's below your belly button. So, with a grain of salt. So we have formal meditations and we have informal meditations. So formal meditations have a structure to them. You sit like this, do this. We sit in a particular type of room. We do this, that, and the other thing. And it comes as well with a dedication. So you're like, I'm going to sit for 10 minutes here each day. It's recommended. You can meditate absolutely any time, but lots of people like to do it first thing in the morning before their mind gets active. Like to do it before going to bed, deconstruct the day, and then they have a better sleep. But you can bring it anytime. Informal meditation would be like little microbursts of meditating in your day. So you have a moment you're standing in line. Sharon was saying the other day, standing in line for something, there's a perfect moment to meditate. Maybe you have 30 seconds before moving from one thing to another. Take a few clearing breaths and then step into it more centered. There's also like a background meditation, which is kind of a mindfulness, I suppose, where it's just part of everything that you're doing. You're doing everything in a mindful way. Your intention is to be calm and peaceful and not reactive. And you're just bringing that into the background of living. So it's more informal. We have many different ways that you could be while meditating. You can sit. That's certainly most common sitting meditation. You can stand and meditate. You can walk and meditate. You can move around and meditate. There's dancing. There's yoga. There's tai chi. There's numerous different ways that you can move and meditate. It's really about your intention. You can do yoga and just be like, what am I doing? Or maybe the postures enough that you can just flow through it without thinking of what you have to do, and you're in a more present state of mind. Tai Chi, for sure. You're really just feeling into that motion and not thinking about it. And that's the goal of practicing. I'm just going to segue a little bit back to my freediver. With the freediver, as with everything, practice improves your situation. So the more you practice diving down through this flotsam, you get a bit deeper. You get a bit deeper. Suddenly you break through and you're in this clear water that's underneath. And it feels so refreshing because you're finally through that layer. Like, okay, this is nice. But you can't hold your breath for very long. So you're back out and you only had a moment, but you got that taste. And you got that taste of, that's why I'm doing this. This is what I'm going for. So your motivation gets a little bit more strong. And you practice more and more, and suddenly you're staying down there a little bit longer. You're becoming acquainted with what it's like in there. Oh, it's calm. It's quiet. It seems clear. That's nice. Then all of a sudden, boom, this log hits you in the shoulder, a thought, boom. And you can either get caught up in that, and then you're struggling in that surface layer again, and suddenly you're back on the surface. Or you can use that little hit as a reminder and go, oh, I floated up. I better choose to go back down. So like, oh, a thought came in. I'm not going to let it take me out. I'm just going to recenter and come back into that peace. The more you practice, the better you're able to get through that layer quickly, and the longer you can stay in your peaceful state. Pardon me. So when we're down in, I'm just going to keep using that analogy, down in the deep clear waters, it's very revivifying. And I like that word because in the middle of it is vivre, to live in French. Life, our life force is down in there. Our pure life, our pura vida. So adding on to Ruthie's pura vida, there's that essence of ourselves is our pura vida, our pure essence. So as we spend that time there, we get more acquainted, we get used to that, the qualities of being in that beautiful state. You may find you become more of a master freediver, and you start to feel this blissful state of being. You encounter that. And this is encountering your true essence, that pure part of you that knows it's not the stuff of the day-to-day life. It's not the worries, it's not the fears, it's not anything, it's not trappings, it's nothing. It is just that pureness of you that we all know is in there somewhere, and we just get distracted away from it. So this is our time. This is our portal, our gateway to that, to meeting and living, connecting with that part of ourselves. That part of ourselves, I would say, is like our Buddha nature. It's connected to the oneness of all things. So you may get to a point where you're feeling this oneness, because that is really at the nature of who we are. We might be living in duality, experiencing duality. I'm sure there's a great reason for it. But back behind it all, underneath it all, is this oneness. And so as we practice our meditation, we meet with that oneness more often, it starts to become more of our vibration. It influences our vibration. So for those who aren't familiar, we're all energy. We're made up of vibration. Let's call it the negative thoughts and occurrences in our day add to the more negative vibration. The experiences with the more positive, and particularly with this positive vibration, and this essence of us is pure positive vibration. So the more time we spend with that, the more we carry back into our lives with us. And so then as we're moving along in our day, we're finding that we're actually bringing like that clear water is coming with us. This flow of clear water is clearing away that layer of detritus, and it's getting smaller and smaller. And so as we're walking about, we're like, I'm not as reactive as I used to be, or that just doesn't bother me, or you know what, I'm feeling just calm and peaceful, when normally I would be thinking a lot. Like I said earlier today, in the past, I'd have gotten super nervous about giving a talk, and I'd have spent days or hours like just freaked out about it. But my practice has been so useful in that every time a little negative thought came up, I was like, no, I've practiced this in meditation. Away you go. I'm not going to entertain you. Detachment. It was so much easier than it's ever been before. So I'm just grateful that I've done any practice. All right. Anything else there? I think I've covered most of that. Some impediments to our meditating is the physical ouches, the sticks that hit us when we're sitting is ow, ow, ow. And a way to help ourselves with that is with all these things that have been cultivated. The Tai Chis, the yoga came about so that people could meditate longer. That's the reason. And it is so that you can condition your body, you're stretching it, you're strengthening it. So, if your back's not strong, you're not going to be able to sit for very long. The stronger you've got, your core, everything, it's easy. It's no longer such a distraction. So this is why we have these physical practices. It doesn't have to be yoga. Anything that gets you to be healthy physically is going to help you to be able to sit without distraction. And ultimately, our meditation should be able to be done no matter what's going on. It's most useful when we're in challenge. But if you're practicing, why not make it easier on yourself and have the less distractions in the room? If you're in a space where people are yelling, it's harder to meditate. It really is. So we just want to help ourselves the most that we can to get practicing, and as we become more masterful, we can apply it in harder situations. Nutrition also being part of having a healthy body. We want balance, just like we want balance with sleep. We want all parts of ourselves to be balanced. If you're, and I don't always eat very well. I'm not making resolutions, but it's kind of in there. I'd like to change how I'm eating because I'm not feeling as great as I could be, and it certainly doesn't help in meditation. But this is life, right? You feel better in all of life. And your mind doesn't go those places when you're healthier. All right. I think I've got it. Oh, I like the last one. We're evolving into a mermaid. Our free diver is becoming a mermaid, where we're just living it. I see us going there. I see so many more people cultivating this type of quality and interested in it. That's my hope for the species, is that we'll be sort of living that pure light all the time. All right. Enough of that. Let's get back into more types and styles of meditation. Any question? Yeah.
Can I share something?
Sure.
I would love to say also, when we are in meditation, also it's with the opportunity to observe our uncomfortability.
Yes.
Even if you feel pain, observe the pain. It's not just try to put out the pain and be quiet and be in silence. Also, it's the best opportunity to observe with the distraction that we have around, and integrate all that, and be in peace, continue in peace, in your inner peace, and everything disappears and it's gone, and it's clean the mind.
Yeah, beautiful. Thank you. Absolutely.
For those of you that were not hearing here, they couldn't hear you back here. She basically was talking about the additional idea about paying attention to anything before you send it away. Or there might be some reason for you to focus on it in meditation. So that was your addition. I just wanted to say it louder for those who couldn't hear.
Yeah, thank you very much. Absolutely. And yeah, that's it. It's in there somewhere.
The main idea, though, I'd like to add to that. The principle that meditation is based on is that you do not stop your thoughts. You let them come, arise, and evaporate. If you are going to attach to that thought, to think about it, then you've gone not into meditation per se, but into reflection. You're in a slightly different area where you're working on whatever thought it was, you come back to it, and then you focus on it. The meditation itself is not attaching to your thoughts or your feelings, simply witnessing and being aware of them. Let them rise. They'll move like clouds on the sky or whatever, and then they evaporate, and another one comes right up behind it. You don't stop anywhere there. Okay, does that make sense to you? Then if you posed a question to your meditation, you don't try to answer it with your thoughts. Your thoughts will speak to you themselves. They'll come up, and you may take note of them and witness them, but don't stop with them and reflect on them then. Wait for a second session when you know in the present moment, I'm going to really figure this thing out. Okay? I hope that makes sense to there are sort of like branches to this self-discovery. Does that make sense to you?
Totally.
Maybe you can clarify.
Do you want it back on?
Just be like this. That's fine.
Falling down on you.
Technical. Yeah, thank you. Those absolutely, 100%. In my list, I was just going to mention them in another spot, but those are key elements to meditation. So just to repeat, not holding on, not attaching to the thoughts. But you can have, so within the different styles and types and ways you can meditate, there is a contemplative style of meditation. As Ruthie said, you pose a question, and your intention is that that's percolating within you. And I love how you put that, Ruthie. Don't grasp and cling to the thoughts that come. Just witness them, and then essentially process them after your meditation. Oh, okay, that was what arose. There's also many styles of meditation where you are sitting with your pains, you're sitting with your thoughts, and you're learning from them. It's a self-examination, and that's your intention of your meditation is I'm going to learn something from what occurs. So if I'm getting pains here or there, is there something that's inspired from witnessing that? Or what are the kinds of thoughts that keep coming up? What does that tell me about myself? So really, lots of schools of meditation are about the self-examination, so that we can, again, it's part of that layer. Let's get deep in that layer and pull that one out and do something with it. Maybe not throw it away, but transform it. Okay. You've gone deep, which is great. I'll just back it up a little bit we can, so I've said we can be still or we can be moving. We can be silent as we were at the beginning, or we can not be silent, more in this having that contemplation or a particular purpose that we're really going in with this thing that is what the meditation's for. We can be embodied in our meditation. So, for example, in a yoga, in a dance practice, you are being very present to your physical, the moment, but you're not thinking, right? You're just really living in the experience of being in a body. Of course, then there's meditations where you are completely not embodied. Your intention is not to be part of the body, but to be perhaps more in spirit or outside of the body, or just nothing. Isness. We have different postures with our eyes. You can have full open eyes, partial open eyes like we did earlier, closed eyes. You can have your eyes pointed at your third eye with your eyes open or closed. You can be gazing at an object, a candle, and they all have different impacts. And so part of the fun of the variety is that, you can play with them and you can see, what does that do for me? And maybe when you're in a certain state, you can take one of these practices and use it because that's the most helpful when you're in that state. If you're super agitated, maybe the silent meditation you're not going to get anywhere with that. But maybe an embodied practice will be what you need, just to move physical energy. So they're all useful. What else we got? So
when you talk about guided meditations, because my experience has been that that's really a helpful starting point for a lot of people.
Yeah, and that was actually my second after just relaxation and restorative yoga type of thing is a guided meditation, because everything else you might feel a bit of responsibility and this is just, I'm not responsible, I can just be here and follow what the person says, and this, those are numerous. They can be on certain subjects, certain qualities. You've got John Kabat-Zinn and his mindfulness-based stress reduction, and he does a body scan. I do body scan a lot in the restorative because it's helping your mind focus. You're practicing mindfulness, but someone's guiding you. Do you have any particular example? Because there's so many.
When I've been encouraging beginners about meditation, I often turn them to look up loving kindness meditation on Google. And there will be 20 forms of guided meditation, 10 minutes long. It's not going to take you a lot of time. And this is a way of getting your feet wet in the pool of it. And so the resources are unlimited. But loving kindness is the most basic of the meditations of Buddhism. Yeah. And so that's a really good start. And if you're just starting and the focus and those things are difficult, then have somebody guide you through it. play the thing. It's helped a lot of people to
Absolutely.
start there.
Yeah, having someone coach you through is a very easy place to start and gets you in the practice and starts to build those skills without the stress. Loving kindness is also like prayer. Yep. The instructor would speak during the guided meditation, but the audience would just be silent and follow whatever they were guiding you to do. So in loving kindness, for example, you're guided to choose 5 different people, and you in your mind would say, I wish you well-being and kindness and love, but you're doing it internally while someone's walking you through it. I should have known all the steps right away, shouldn't I?
Maybe we could put that also on the site for those that are interested. We have a Dharma site, and we
YouTube
send it out afterwards. If you're interested, I'll get you on.
Yeah. Okay.
I think everyone recognizes that meditation is self-discovery.
Meditation is self-discovery.
And it's also learning to let go of just whatever, and it solves a lot of problems.
Yeah. Ruth is saying it's about letting go, and that solves a lot of problems.
Yeah.
Truly. You are, what I referred to as the flotsam and jetsam is you're releasing the stuff that disturbs you. Mm-hmm. And so it's a practice of releasing. Pardon?
And the negativity.
The negativities, yeah. Yeah. Just a few, we're running short on time, so a few more ways to meditate. Get through some of these. Guided meditation. There's chanting or mantras, which we've done with Michael for sure, often in Sanskrit, but you can do them in any language. And it's just the repetition, essentially, of a prayer or a positive intention that you repeat and you repeat. And in that repetition, you move beyond the words and you move into that state of peacefulness. You find that. I used to be part of a chanting group, and we would chant for about an hour. And by the end of that hour, we were just blissed right out through just chanting. And singing often does that for people. You have to check your intention with what you're doing with anything. Anything can be a meditation, and that's mindfulness, which is the best form of meditation and covers all of this. Really, is what are you choosing to focus on, and how are you choosing to be in the moment. So there's a present moment awareness, which is if we're just sitting here now, you're just aware of the sounds, the feelings, the smells, all of that, and you're just aware of the moment without thinking about it, without being attached to it. There's also a present moment awareness where you're not thinking at all. You're just, so I was going to guide you through some, but I got like 5 minutes. So this one, Dawa actually walked us through this last year. And we stood, so this one is standing with your eyes open. And we stood and we just looked out at a vista. And so we're looking out kind of at the horizon, and then you unfocus so that you're just taking in everything without particularly focusing on anything. So you're being in all of it. It's approaching oneness to the best that we can. So you're just integrating yourself into what is in complete non-attachment. And that's a really good one to practice, I think. And I'm not sure, you might have said it might be advanced, but it doesn't matter. Just give it a try. Oneness with everything. Isn't that a hot dog that Buddha orders? One with everything.
I just call that spacing out.
Spacing out. It's about your intention. If your mind is just wandering, then you just have daydreaming. But it's that no thought, or letting the clouds go by of thought. We have, mentioned metta, which I said is like prayer as well. Right, the ones I wanted to show you, and I think I'll just demonstrate with my hand. So a walking meditation, because this one everybody can apply anywhere. And it's about focus. So walking meditation, the way I learned it, is you're paying attention to, so this is your foot on the ground, your heel places on the ground. You're noticing the sensation of that. You're noticing as all the parts of your foot make contact with the earth and as they peel up. You're noticing what's happening in your leg, your entire body. You're really focused on the sensations of movement and noticing what it takes to move. And you can do this at any speed, but the more meditative you end up, you'll find you're moving quite slowly. Yes, Sharon?
We've done retreats, silent retreats here. The labyrinth is great for that, and y'all are welcome to use that as a tool because it takes away the distraction of where am I going, where am I, it just leads you in this path toward the middle and then in path toward the outside. So it really clears your mind.
Thank you. That's exactly
You
what the
can
next
see
words
it
out
on
of
the
my
way
mouth.
out when
Yeah,
you walk
it's right
out.
on the
It's right on the other side of the path here. So it's really good.
So Sharon's just mentioning what I was just about to say, so that's great. Is that no, that's perfect. Is the labyrinth. So they have the labyrinth here that anyone's welcome to come and use, and so you can use that walking meditation as you walk through the labyrinth, which is a contained space, so you're not having to go for a long walk unprotected. You're moving towards the center, but it is it's like a life journey using a labyrinth. So you have your intention or a contemplation that you have, and you walk in with it, and you get to the center of your being, and you stay in the center for a little while, have a meditation in the center, and maybe you have an insight about it, perhaps. And then when you're moving out of the center, you're taking that with you back into the outside world. So it's this process of, I think I wrote it here, releasing, insight, and then integration. So that's a lovely thing to do with
It's a wonderful book called Walking the Labyrinth.
Walking the Labyrinth book.
Michael Fernandez. He does labyrinths on the beach.
Labyrinths on the beach, yeah. Those are wonderful.
I haven't gone. I've wanted to go, and it's worked out when they've done them. I wasn't able to, but one of these days, I'm sure they'll still do it.
Yeah. If you can find his labyrinths on the beach, wonderful. Yeah. And that can also be taken into forest bathing, which here we've got plenty of that. But in my research on the internet, they said you can, if you're stuck at home inside, you can still have the positive effects. They've done research just by calling up some music or watching a video of the forest and nature sounds. They're quantifiable results just from that. So, but forest bathing is being in nature and essentially meditating with nature. You can just stand in nature and sense into it, the qualities that are there. You can, sense into the qualities of a tree, meet that tree energetically. You can come into meeting yourself. But the peaceful nature of nature is the ultimate meditative tool. And, you can just look out at the beauty of a vista, and you're not wanting to think, you're just admiring that, and it just naturally leads you right into a meditative state of being. All right, I think that's all of them. Oh, the last two things. One is singing bowls is an example of other meditation tools. So the singing bowl, if you're using it yourself and you're playing it, it's like a biofeedback tool where what the bowl is doing is reflecting your state of being. And so the calmer you are, the clearer that bowl is going to be singing. And that's a whole deep relationship that you can develop with that. Or like how Mark and I do sound ceremonies for people, just by being in that cultivates a beautiful meditative state where you can just release and be in that peace. And the one, for some reason I kept thinking, Susan, that you'd like this one. speaking of how many types of meditation there are, there's Jedi meditation. So from Star Wars, I don't know why I thought you liked that, but and Star Wars was based on Taoism and Zen, the philosophies. So there's a chi meditation that's one of the different methods they have for cultivating the force or your chi. All right, I have come to the end of my time. Would you like to do loving kindness or just close, or how would you? Why don't you come in, Ruthie, and do your loving kindness?
Why don't we just hand her the mic
Yeah, okay, we'll hand you the microphone.
We'll hand you the mic right there.
Yeah, that'll work.
Thank you, everybody. This was fun.
Thank you.
That was very nice, Lisa. The meditation is about moving inwards. As she pointed out, it's about going within and finding peace and resolution. There are many practices that she touched on, a lot of them. You can, I find it's a little more difficult with the mask on because of the breathing. But anyway, she mentioned meditation, which is loving kindness. We'll go ahead and do one now because I think we're getting short on time. Is there anyone here who has never done it?
I think there are.
All right.
Yes.
Well, as I will just guide you through this, and instead of giving you the instructions at the beginning, I'm going to bring up 5 different people, and I'll tell you who they are, and then I'm going to repeat a metta, which is a loving kindness wish for them. Metta is unconditional friendship or loving kindness. And what you're trying to do is open up your channels, which is your heart and your mind and everything, to the universe. So we'll begin by getting to that centered position, our 2 halves kind of brought into a unity in the middle. Close our eyes, take a few deep breaths, set aside any cares and concerns. I think Lisa's done a good job of that already. And just follow after me. We're going to begin with ourselves. In Buddhism, we always begin with ourselves because you cannot find for others what you do not have for yourself first. So loving kindness begins with self-compassion. So I'll say a phrase and you repeat it to yourself after me. With yourself, you say, may I be well. May no harm come to me. May I live with ease. That in Buddhism is equanimity, balance, or poise. May I live with ease, calm, and peaceful. May I be happy. And now you turn to someone that you love very, very much. You look at them, you say their name, you smile, and you say, may you be well. May no harm come to you. May you live with ease, calm, and peaceful. May you be happy. And then you expand your circle a little farther out to someone who's a neutral person. You don't really know them well. They may be someone who waits on you all the time when you go to the grocery store or something, or a neighbor who's been there for years, but you've never really gotten to know them. If you don't know his or her name, you address them as friend. So bring this neutral person to mind and say to that person, may you be well. May no harm come to you. May you live with ease, calm and peaceful. May you be happy. And now, as we smile and move on, we move to someone with whom we are in conflict. Maybe we don't like them, maybe they don't like us, maybe with perfectly good reason. You are only trying to relieve yourself of the animosity or malice or grudge or whatever you have. So you bring this person to mind, you look directly at them, you take a nice deep breath and say, may you be well. May no harm come to you. May you live with ease, calm and peaceful. May you be happy. Then we take another deep breath or so. And we put our hands over our hearts. And now we extend our loving kindness to all sentient beings. There are 8 billion people just on our one planet. We have no idea how many other sentient beings there may be in the universe. But we are all part of that oneness implied with the word universe. So we say to this phantasmagorum of all these living beings, may all beings everywhere on this plane and all other planes be well. May all beings everywhere be safe. May all beings everywhere be free from suffering. May all beings everywhere be happy. Now we let the feelings of loving kindness kind of sink in. It helps to let go of any negativity you might have. And then as a group, we usually put our hands together and we close by saying, go in peace, go making peace, living gently, loving mightily, and bowing to the mysteries. Thank you all for coming. Thanks Sharon and Mac for having us. Thank Lisa for a lovely introduction to meditation or refresher course. And we'll see you next Thursday.
Thank you.